Co-Operative Association.
Bonjour tout le monde, je me présente Luc Morin, le directeur général du Conseil de la coopération de l'Ontario. Hello, my name is Luc Morin. I am the executive director of the Conseil de la coopération de l'Ontario. On behalf of both organizations, Aaron and I want to welcome you here this evening. De la part de nous deux, nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue ici ce soir. We are particularly delighted to see so many MPPs have joined us. From what I hear, there are close to 40 MPPs, so thank you very much. As well as a number of political staff, government officials, and guests. Alors, merci beaucoup pour tous les députés d'être avec nous ce soir, et aussi le personnel et les fonctionnaires qui sont ici. De qu'est-ce qu'on entend, il y en a près de 40 députés avec nous. Merci beaucoup. As well, we're joined by leaders from some of over 1,300 cooperatives enterprises located across the province of Ontario. En plus, nous avons les leaders de plusieurs coopératives, de 1,300 coopératives ici à travers de l'Ontario. Tonight, we're going to hear a few brief remarks from two of three co-chairs of All-Party Cooperative Caucus, Minister Nathalie Desrosiers and MPP Percy Hatfield. Ce soir, nous allons entendre des commentaires brefs de deux de nos députés du caucus tripartite, ministre Nathalie Desrosiers et député Percy Hatfield. Député Ernie Hederman est aussi un co-chair, mais il ne peut pas nous joindre ce soir. À sa place, nous sommes heureux d'accueillir la députée Lisa Thompson. So this evening, MPP Ernie Hederman is also co-chair, but he cannot be with us tonight. In his place, we are delighted to have MPP Lisa Thompson speaking.
The All-Party Cooperative Caucus was created to give co-op enterprises a voice at Queen's Park. Over the past year and a half, the chairs have led numerous meetings attended by over 50 MPPs, many of whom are in this room. Welcome. During this time, the co-chairs have become our champions here at Queen's Park. Our organizations look forward to a positive outcome for our members as a result, so that our sector can focus on what we do best, creating jobs, building communities, and providing essential services all across this province. At this point, I would like to welcome Monika Wyzikowska from the Co-Operators to introduce the first of our speakers.
Thanks very much, Aaron and Luke. I have the pleasure of introducing the first co-chair to speak this afternoon, the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, the MPP for Ottawa-Vanier, the Honourable Nathalie Desrosiers. First, a few words. In her short time as co-chair, Minister Desrosiers has been an extremely effective champion for us. She has moved our efforts forward with a private members' bill that would have made important changes to the Ontario Cooperative Corporations Act and strengthened our sector. And she remains, we know, a strong voice for us at the cabinet table. Nous vous remercions pour votre engagement envers le coopératif de l'Ontario. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Minister Nathalie Desrosiers.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me to be here with many of my colleagues and my co-chairs, or replacement co-chairs. It's really important that we are together celebrating the work that you are doing throughout Ontario. And this is what this is all about. It's about listening to you, to what you are doing across Ontario and how you are helping develop the economic potential that exists for everyone. Évidemment, ça me fait très grand plaisir d'être ici dans cette belle salle où on reconnaît toujours que nous sommes en territoire ancestral de plusieurs communautés autochtones. We want to say and acknowledge our respect for Aboriginal people when we come here, first because the art reminds us, but also because they were probably the first one to think about working together to get things done. On this note, I just want to say for the last year and a half, I'm a new politician, I've been there for a year and a half, I've had the occasion to really see how much good work you are and how necessary you are in our social fabric, in our economic fabric. More and more we need and we see the importance of people getting together to have access to capital that we cannot otherwise have access to because of the way banks are structured and so on. So I've seen it in the arts, I've seen it in the energy sector, I've seen it certainly in the housing sector in Ottawa-Vanier, you're very present there, and I've seen also it in the funeral homes and the finances and so on. So before I pass the mic to my co-chair, I want to acknowledge many of our colleagues from the Liberal Caucus who are here, and I know that the people from the other caucuses will be acknowledged as well. So I'll call upon you, and that's why I was taking presence, Minister Flynn. So we have Minister Flynn here, Mike Cole that I saw, Minister Lalonde, I saw Sue Wong, I saw Ivan Baker, and I saw Arthur Potts as well that was here. Did I miss anybody that is here? I know that many people, pardon? So I meant Sue Wong. I meant Sue Wong is very important to you. I know that many people in the caucus have spoken to me about how much they care about this sector and how much they know the work that you do and the innovation. You're really a driver of innovation. We need you more than ever. Merci beaucoup et puis merci à notre mouvement coopératif francophone. I know I was destined to be involved in the cooperative movement because last time I spoke about this is I was born in an apartment building on top of a caisse populaire Desjardins. So I'm driven to the co-op movement.
Merci, Madame la Ministre. Merci, Monica. Now I would like to invite Simone Swell from the Canadian Cooperative Housing Federation, Ontario region, to introduce our representative tonight from the Progressive Conservative Party. Simone.
Thank you. Our next speaker is here on behalf of the Ontario Progressive Conservative Party. Lisa Thompson has been a champion of the co-op movement from well before she was here at Queen's Park. She was once the executive director of the Ontario Dairy Goat Cooperative in Teeswater, Ontario. So she understands us very well and the opportunities in our sector firsthand. So thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Please welcome MPP Lisa Thompson.
Hello everyone, bonjour, and it is a pleasure to be here on behalf of the ministers and Percy's fellow co-chair Ernie Hardiman, as well as our leader Doug Ford, and the rest of our caucus of the PC party. And it's really fun. I just saw somebody I went to public school with in the back. Hi, Al. And you just never know who you're going to run into at Queen's Park. Welcome, warm welcome. Anyways, I want to share with you that it is so important that you're here today, not only meeting with the Cooperative Caucus, but with all of the MPPs here at Queen's Park, because it's important that everyone comes to realize the value that cooperatives bring throughout the province. You know, when you think about it in a dollar value, it's my understanding that cooperatives across Ontario bring approximately $6 billion in added value to our provincial economy. And I experienced that firsthand. And I do come from the village of Teeswater. I live just outside on a farm, just east of Teeswater. But for a little village of 1,000 people, we actually have 4 cooperatives. We have Huron Bay Cooperative, which Al is very familiar with, from Lucknow, Ontario. And we also have the Ontario Dairy Goat Cooperative. And we have Gailey Foods. And we had a cooperative grocery store as well. And we didn't have a local grocery store, so all the community came together and in the spirit of cooperativeness, opened a grocery store. So mostly our young families and seniors had groceries close to home. But I have to give a little shout out, and I'm sure Al and Huron Bay will forgive me in doing this, but I want to give a special shout out to Gailey Foods. Gailey Foods is a cooperative that is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. It grew its roots out of Teeswater, Ontario, and I'm very pleased to say that they recognize the importance of investing in small town, they being the cooperative board members recognize the importance of investing in small town Ontario, and they're putting in a $60 million expansion in our plant in Teeswater. That means more jobs and sustainability. And that, in my mind, is what cooperatives are all about. Now a little bit about the Dairy Goat Cooperative. When I started with the Dairy Goat Co-op, there was about 13 farmers that were milking goats, and they needed to realize economies of scale. And if they wanted to bring down their transportation costs and try and negotiate better in a stronger position with processors, they knew they needed to come together. So quickly the 13 members grew to 30 members, and then quickly, with a lot of help from a local credit union and in Northern Ontario, a caisses populaires, we grew into a provincial cooperative with 120 farm families. And we realized efficiencies. And that's what every sector of cooperatives in Ontario are realizing. The strength in numbers and the strength in the spirit of like-minded people. So thank you for being here. We need to continue to support all the like-minded people working in our cooperatives, because in small town Ontario, rural Ontario, and urban centers across this province, you're making a difference, and for that, I thank you.
Merci, Madame la députée. Merci, Simone. Maintenant, j'aimerais inviter Heather Simpson from Alternative Savings pour introduire la présidence tripartite du parti NDP.
So it gives me great pleasure to introduce co-chair and MPP for Windsor-Tecumseh, Percy Hatfield. Percy Hatfield, who will bring greetings on behalf of the NDP. Prior to coming to Queen's Park in 2013, Percy had a wealth of experience in municipal life and has a long track record of supporting community organizations. As co-chair, Percy has championed the ability of co-ops to help support local jobs and build communities. Please welcome MPP Percy Hatfield.
Thank you, Heather. It's a treat to be here on behalf of my leader, Andrew Horvath, and my caucus colleagues. I know Frangelina is here from Nickel Belt. Michael Mantha was here from Algoma, Manitoulin. He pushed me away from the bar a while ago. I say to Mike, when he gets re-elected, we're going to introduce a private member's bill to change the name of his riding from Algoma, Manitoulin to Algoma, Mantha-Tulin. I think that's, I like the idea. Come on. I have 15 co-ops in my riding, and Jim Campbell tells me he's up there all the time in Tecumseh, so I'm going to get together with him and see what he does when he comes in from Chatham, Kent. It is a treat to be here because you show us how to do it right. I say to the pages when they leave after seeing us in action, whatever you do, when you go back to your school, don't act the way we act in freshman. You know, zero tolerance should be kicked out. But the cooperative movement shows us how to get things done cooperatively. And if we had more reaching hands across the aisle to get things done, working together to get things done, legislation in Ontario would move along a lot faster, and we'd have better legislation if we all set aside our political differences and did what was best. And that's what the cooperative movement does for us. And in that spirit, Lisa did not mention, and she's going to be in big trouble, I know, because her house leader was here, Steve Clark.
Oh, he's still here.
Yeah, and Jim McDonnell was here from the Tory caucus.
People are still at house duty.
I know. Most of my people are in the House now as we prepare to form the next government in Ontario. What's so funny? No, I just wanted to say, normally it's more fun, Lisa, really, when Ernie is here, because Ernie goes on and on and on and on and on. and people get tired, so I just have to say thanks for coming, goodbye. So, I'm just filling time. Kidding. Seriously, to the cooperative people who are here, You are in very good hands with Simone and Harvey. They're here all the time. They're pulling us aside. Howard pulls us aside all the time. Your agenda is being heard at Queen's Park by all three parties. And the Co-op caucus is doing stuff behind the scenes on your behalf. So thank you for coming. Thank you for the invitation to speak again today. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Percy, and thank you, Heather. We greatly appreciate the kind words of all three speakers and their tremendous dedication to the Cooperatives of Ontario. As a thank you, we have some gifts for you as a token of our appreciation. We hope that these lovely gifts, donated by Mountain Equipment Co-op, remind you of the co-op movement and our sincere appreciation of the work you've done on our behalf. If you'll come to the front, we'll give you your gifts and take photos. And while you're making your way forward, I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors for helping make this reception possible. Our platinum sponsors this evening are the Co-Operators, the Co-op Housing Federation of Ontario, Canada, Ontario region, sorry, Alterna Savings, and Central One. Our gold sponsor tonight is Gromar. Our silver sponsors are Ag Energy and First Ontario Credit Union. And our bronze sponsors are Your Credit Union, Eiler Campbell, and the Cumis Group. We also want to thank the cooperatives that donated products for today's reception, as well as the gifts in the gift bags. And you'll see in the other room a nice platter of cooperative goodies.
So once again, thank you everybody for coming in such great numbers. Merci beaucoup à toutes et tous d'être venus en si grand nombre ce soir. J'aimerais terminer en remerciant nos commanditaires francophones, l'Assemblée de la francophonie de l'Ontario, l'Alliance des caisses populaires de l'Ontario et le Centre francophone de Toronto. Je vous souhaite de passer une excellente soirée. Have an excellent evening, everybody.